teams remain in this year's Champions League, with 3 of them, of course, coming out of the Premier League. But who's going to take advantage as we enter the quarterfinals of this year's Champions League's first legs? We're going to come at you, and they are next. Today we look forward to the quarter-final stages of this year's Champions League. It's the first legs, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new where you've been, smash your subscribe and keep banging to the all things Rovers related, Champions League related, Wolves football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one roof, of course, Liverpool and Chelsea have a chance to regain, of course, the Champions League. But of course, standing in the way, of course, our juggernauts, Real Madrid, and of course, Bayern München. Of course, all those names are in the mix, of course, in the quarterfinal stages. But who will take advantage as we enter the first stage? Take a look at it, all of it, in a minute. Of course, big shout out to my VRPs. They are the patrons, guys. Thank you for loving, of course, behind the scenes. You know who you are, of course. And a recap of the last results are coming at you right about now. So here we go. Then let's recap the results, of course, in the last 16 second legs. And bring you bang up to date, of course. Let's take a look at it. Bayern against RB Salzburg. In the end, 7-1 demolition. Of course, Bayern really showing the quality after a bit of a shocked first leg. 3-0 was my pick. Of course, got over the line in the end. Meanwhile, Liverpool did lose to Internazionale. Of course, 2-0 was my pick for Liverpool, but it was a 1-0 win for Inter. Manchester City also drew with Sporting Lisbon 0-0. I went with a 3-0 win myself. Real Madrid, game of the tournament right there. 3-1 win in the end for Real Madrid over PSG. I went with a 2-1 win myself. Ajax, of course, crashed out. Benfica go through 1-0 win on the night. Well, we'll see. We'll clarify that in a minute. I went with a 2-0 win for Ajax. United are out as well. I went with a 1-0 win for them. Madrid with a 1-0 win on the night. It was enough. Lille also crashing out 2-1 win for Chelsea. 2-0 was my pick. And of course, Juventus are out as well to Villarreal. Goodness gracious me. Look at the results. Take it in your veins. But these are the aggregate results. Of course, Bayern 8-2, of course, over the double legs. Liverpool as well, 2-1 going through. City 5-0, of course, from the first leg. Of course, Real Madrid 3-2 after the double header. Of course, same scoreline, but for Benfica going through. And, of course, United out with a 2-1 loss as well. Lille out, 4-1 win for Chelsea. And, of course, Juventus also out on a 4-1 win over the double legs. Of course, that's the state of play there. Let's take a look at your pickaroos then. Take a bloody bow. Carl Muckian, Eddie Judy, Ferris 77, and Bianca Mobile. Well done to all of you for doing 5-piece there. 5-piece out of, 8 games there? Not too shabby. Well done, well done, well done. What's that done to the grand old scheme of things? Let's take a look at it. The master leaderboard is in all glorious. Max and Guardi at the moment, 70 points to the board. Pim is up there in second spot. Hans Worst and Shane O'Donnell make up the power 3. That's right. There is 13 points on the horizon. So if you're in the top 10, top 12 maybe, you've got a realistic shout or a good chance. If you're in top 5, you've definitely got a chance. But at the moment, Max and Guardi leads the charge. It's his to lose at this stage. If you want to get involved with the Pickaroos, get involved. It is free. cut/UCL picks and get your name in lights. But here we go, folks. This is what it's all about as we enter the last 8 quarter-final stages. These were the 16 clubs that entered the previous round. Of course, 8 of them have said goodbye. Of course, we said goodbye to Ajax, Internazionale, Juventus, and RB Salzburg. Also, we said goodbye to PSG, Lille, Manchester United, and, of course, Sporting Lisbon. That's right. Goodness gracious me. But what about, of course, the quarter-finals? Well, here comes the first one. It'll be Benfica up against Liverpool over in Portugal. Let's get in the deep end on this one now, shall we? Now, played each other 4 times in 2006. 3 wins for Benfica, 1 for Liverpool, and 0 draws. Just 1 defeat past 6 for Benfica right now, 75% form for them. Up against the Liverpool side, just 1 defeat past 6 for them, 83% form for them at the moment. Of course, biggest win for Liverpool over Benfica was a 4-1 win. The biggest win in the way was a 2-0 win for Benfica as well. Benfica scored 6 goals compared to Liverpool's 5, which works out around about 1.5 goals a game ratio compared to Liverpool's 1.25 goals a game ratio. And like I said, last time they played each other in Portugal was a 2-1 win for Benfica. That was back in April 2010. Of course, so Benfica did have the upper hand in that match. However, Liverpool did bounce back with a 4-1 win in the second legs over at Anfield. Meanwhile, Liverpool picked up a 2-0 win over Watford. That was just yesterday. And of course, Benfica did lose to Braga last time around as well. So next up on the engine for both of these two sides is this quarterfinal. And of course, it's going to take place on Tuesday, April the 5th. The odds here 50-2 is your Benfica, 5-2 on is your Liverpool. They are red hot favourites. 50-4 is your draw on this. I'm backing, of course, Liverpool to get the win here. 2-0 win for them in the upper hand and take the upper hand in, of course, this stage quarterfinal first leg. Bring it back to to Anfield and hopefully for them seal the deal over to see what's in the next round, of course. And waiting for them in the next round could either be Villarreal or Bayern München. That's right, of course. They're, of course, waiting in the other side of this side of the bracket. Now, these two sides played each other 2 times in 2011. Of course, 2 wins out of 2 for Bayern, nothing for Villarreal, and, of course, 0 draws. 1-3, lost 3 of the last 6, though, for Villarreal. 50% form for them. Up against the Bayern side, of course, 1-3 of the last 4, 83% form for them. At the moment, Bayern have not lost in the last 8 games. They have not lost the last 4 on the road. Meanwhile, Villarreal haven't lost any of the last 9 home games, so take from what you will. Meanwhile, last time they played each other, of course, in Spain, there was a 2-0 win for Bayern. That was back in September 2011 in the Champions League Group A. Of course, meanwhile, Villarreal did lose to Levante. Bit of a surprise. In fact, it's actually been back-to-back games without a goal for Villarreal. Now, meanwhile, Bayern coming to this on the back of scoring 8 over the last 2. 4-1 win over Freiburg last round in the Bundesliga just yesterday. The odds on this one, then, shall we? What do we have? We have Villarreal 17-4 for the victory, 3-1 is draw, 5-3 on is, of course, your Bayern. Of course, they are your favourites on this one. Of course, we could set up a Klopp-Nagelsmann semi-final on this one. And I think at the minute, that's what it's looked like to me. 3-1 win for Bayern, even though it's in Spain. I think they're going to show their dominance and show that they are a real contender for this title in the first leg. Let's go to the other side of the bracket now. Take a look at it. Probably the game of the week is Chelsea up against Real Madrid in London. Of course, now these two sides played each other 4 times 2013. 2 wins for Real Madrid, 1 win for Chelsea, and 1 draw. Of course, Chelsea, though, just 1 defeat in the past 6. It was just yesterday. It was a big one and a bad one as well. They've won actually 5 in the last 6, 83% form. Against Real Madrid, also 1 defeat in the past 6, 83% form. And that defeat also was a bit of a big one as well. Of course, biggest win for Chelsea over Real Madrid was a 2-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 3-1 win for Real Madrid as well. Madrid has scored 7 goals compared to Chelsea 6 over the course of those 4 games. Works out around about 1.75 goals a game ratio for Real Madrid and 1.5 goals a game ratio for the hosts Chelsea. That's not a played, of course, in London. Was a 2-0 win for Chelsea. That's back in the semi-final stage of this competition back in May 2021. Meanwhile, of course, Chelsea did lose to Brentford 4-1 at Stamford Bridge. Bit of an embarrassment there. Meanwhile, of course, Real Madrid pick up a 2-1 win over Celta Vigo last round. The odds, though, for this one, Chelsea are actually 20 for the victory, 5-2 as your Real Madrid, and 12-5 is your draw. I'm going to take a little bit of sort of inspiration from the weekend's action, of course. Real Madrid with the W, of course Chelsea with the L. I think Chelsea will, of course, follow that with a bit of a hangover as well from that game against Brentford and lose it at Stamford Bridge, 2-1 loss in the end. And then wrap it up. The 4-piece we have Atletico Madrid up against Manchester City. Now this game will take place over in the Etihad, of course. Now these two sides have played each other 0 times, of course. 2 juggernauts of the European stage for the past few years, been ever present, of course, but they never played each other, according to my eyes. Of course, Man City unbeaten in the last 7 games, of course, winning 4 of the last 6, 83% form. Up against Atletico Madrid side, of course, really they've had a bit of a wobble way back when, but now they seem to be prime time. Atletico Madrid winning 6 on the bounce, 100% form for them at the moment. Of course, Man City picked up a 2-0 win over Burnley just yesterday. Atletico picked up a 4-1 win over Alaves just yesterday as well. The odds, though, for this one, of course, we've got Man City 3-1 on for the victory, 8-1 is your long shots. That's Atletico Madrid, and 50-4 is your draw. I'm back, and of course, a 0-0 on this one. It's going to be quite tight, and of course it could go to the second leg over in Spain. That's, of course, my pickaroos for this one. Sure to get your own pickaroos, of course, using the link /ECL picks or UCL picks. There it is in all its glory. Get it in there, get it amongst it, and see what you got in your hat next time around. Let's take a look at the odds then, shall we? Let's do it in reverse order. Benfica are actually 200-1 to lift the trophy. Villarreal are 80-1, of course, at this stage. Atletico Madrid, despite, of course, 100% form at the moment, 25% form, or 25% to lift the trophy at the end. Real Madrid 14-1 as well. Chelsea 12-1, they're 4th favourites. Bayern 3-1, 2nd favourites. Liverpool 2-1, 2nd favourites. But of course, Man City are leading 15-8, of course, and that is without a proper striker. Goodness gracious me, that's, of course, the tail of the tape for me. What about you guys? Make sure you get your pickaroos in there. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Get some comments in there. What do you think about this game? Who do you think is going to go the distance? Can it be Man City finally get their hands on the trophy, or will Klopp get his 2nd Champions League for Liverpool up here? But what about Bayern? Of course, they were winners not too long ago. They could be in the hunt as well. And Chelsea, of course, defending champions, would like to go a little bit further as well. But that's it. Smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm also on Patreon. But until then, boys, we're done right now.